there is all forms of convertibility. Nothing is 100% convertible. No currency is 100% convertible. There are some currencies which are far more convertible than there are some other currencies where there is a very limited convertibility.
Right.
So effectively, the central bank or the government is saying that for XYZ reasons, you can convert local currency into a foreign currency, but for ABC reasons, you cannot freely convert. And if you do want to do that, come to us. We will tell you whether you should do it or not do it.
Right.
Right? The concept of convertibility is basically divided between what is called a current account convertibility and capital account convertibility, right? The current account convertibility is that if you're buying consumption items, if you're buying goods and services for the purpose of consumption, which are what is called a current account items, you can freely go ahead and, buy and sell foreign exchange for that. That's called current account convertibility. And India has current account convertibility effectively for most of the stuff, except for some items which are, say, prohibited or negative list items. The second,
which means as an individual or as a company, if you are buying something, you can basically buy or sell dollars or whatever other currency.
Yeah.
So that is allowed, except obviously kind of you're doing some wrong.
Yeah, I mean, for example, certain items are prohibited to be imported.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
you cannot
You
cannot buy. But for most of the other stuff, for day-to-day stuff, you can actually buy foreign exchange freely in the market.
Right.
Right. And as an individual, let's say, for example, if you're traveling abroad, and nowadays when you're ordering something online using your credit card, you're effectively freely allowed to convert in some senses that, the currency. So that's all current account convertibility domain. The second aspect of this is the capital account convertibility, where if you are buying or investing abroad, or if you are buying assets abroad, for that, whether you are allowed to convert or not. And most developing economies have some or the other form of a constraint on capital account convertibility. So, for example, as an individual, if I have to, if let's say tomorrow I want to buy a Microsoft or a Google or a Facebook shares, Meta shares, can I freely buy it? Answer is no. There is a limit. In our context, it is called LRS, Liberalized Remittance Scheme. And within that there is a quota up to which you can do that, but you're not fully convertible in that sense. So there is a constraint on how much of foreign exchange you can buy for the purpose of investing abroad. Or say, for example, if I want to buy a house in Florida in US, can I freely go and buy it? Answer is no. There is a constraint on that. So effectively today in India we have largely current account convertibility. We have most constraints on capital account convertibility, and the capital account convertibility constraints also vary between different kinds of players.
Right.
So for example, if you are a foreign portfolio investor, you can freely bring in money and take it out. For you, there is no constraint on capital account convertibility, right? But if I am a domestic company, then there is a constraint as to how much capital I can take out to invest offshore, right? Similarly, as an individual, there is a constraint on how much can I actually take out for investing abroad, for buying, whether I'm investing in equities or fixed income or real estate and stuff like that, right? There is a varying degree of constraints on each of the market players or economic actors, as we call it, on how much you are allowed to do from a capital perspective.